I sure am taking my sweet time this morning, but we are doing it. It is morning still, and it will be up hopefully still in the morning. Morning drip. Thank you for joining. Wanted to discuss a little bit about one topic in particular, and that is Vincent Gray talking about how they had no idea who Ricky White was going into that game, and how that this team, he feels more prepared, the team feels more prepared. If you didn't catch it, take a look.
I know football at a way better level than I did a whole year ago from today. My preparation going into this game is going to be way better. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the challenges that this game is going to bring. And I just can't wait to showcase what we can do in the secondary. I mean, it means we were rolling last year, and we kind of looked past them a little bit, and what happened. So we'll never look past them again. We just can't wait to get our get back this Saturday.
Do you know really who Ricky White was before that game last year? When you're talking about overlooking things, is that one of the things maybe you guys?
Yeah, no, I didn't know who he was. No. So yeah, I would say the preparation for games in general has been way better from a personal standpoint and a secondary as a whole. So I feel like we'll be prepared for anybody they match us up against. We talk about nameless, faceless opponents all the time. So I feel like the way we prepare for games and we prepare for route concepts and people, I don't think there's anyone who could, if we're doing what we're supposed to do, anyone who can really run past us.
So yeah, that's highly alarming. Obviously, going into a rivalry game, he's not the only person on defense who said that Michigan State had been kind of overlooked last year, that they were feeling themselves too much coming out of Minnesota, and that they kind of went into that game pretty much unprepared, as he said. So the good news is, because I saw, like, when I tweeted out during the press conference yesterday, there were some people that were appalled, as you should be, but then you have to also understand that that's last year, and that's really, I mean, part of it's the kids, right? Because they are 18 to 22-ish year olds. But the other part is the fact that they are, that the coaching staff didn't, obviously Ricky White was a relatively new player, right? He hadn't really burst onto the scene at all. But you still should be prepared. You still should be able to know who you're going up against. This year, in conjunction with the fact that Michigan lost last year, this is a huge game, obviously, two top 10 teams. They're both undefeated. Obviously, Michigan State has Michigan's full attention now. So I think that this is going to be a lot different of a contest than what we saw last year in multiple ways, because it really even felt play calling wise that Michigan wasn't prepared for Michigan State. I went into that game. I don't remember if I said this on the preview show that I had last year. I'm sure I did. But the best way to attack Michigan State last year was on the edges. Hit them on the periphery. Michigan was intent on going down the middle of the field, trying to force a square peg into a round hole on offense, and defensively. Part of it is the lack of preparation. The other part of it, honestly, is you had two guys in their second starts. They're real, like, Vincent Gray had a little bit of experience getting sprinkled in 2019, but certainly he wasn't a savvy veteran. Jamon Green really had not played at all. So they know what to do on these downfield passes a lot more. Vincent Gray even said, hey, we welcome it. If they want to try to replicate what happened last year, go ahead, be our guest. So that's good. When it comes to this game in particular, I don't think it's going to matter as much what happens in the secondary. Of course it matters, right? It doesn't not matter. I think, and this is the reason why I picked Michigan to win, because keep in mind, I do think that Michigan State is good in all three phases of the game. So they've shown. But like I've mentioned time and time again, their offense is not nearly as good when it goes up against a good defense. That tends to be true, but their offense has only gone up against defenses with a pulse when they've faltered. It's not even that the defenses are good. They're shredding awful defenses. So that's one thing. But with that in mind, I think that this all comes down to the trenches. And that's where I think Michigan is superior. I think Michigan State is very good. They might even be great on the offensive and defensive lines, more so the defensive line than the offensive line. The front seven certainly looks really good. I think that when I look at Michigan's defensive front versus Michigan State's offensive front, I think that is at least a slight win for Michigan, if not a little bit more. When I look at Michigan's offensive front versus Michigan State's defensive front, I think, again, that's a slight win for Michigan. And then you pepper in a lot of other things. But there's certainly things that can go wrong, right? If Michigan can't hit intermediate to downfield passes, if they can't run the ball, if they decide we're going to run up the middle and they can't do it. There's certain things that, all right, if they stack the box, how does Michigan respond? They responded well against Wisconsin. They hit on some of those passes. There certainly is always a chance that they don't hit on those passes. On the other side, what if Michigan State finds soft spots in the zone and drives the field and gets just enough? So there's a lot of things to pay attention to, but that's my take. I guess it's more than one thing because I wanted to talk about the Vincent Gray thing, but that's all I really had to say about it. It's troubling, but you couldn't throw Don Brown under the bus more. Based off of what he said. It's not the first time, but certainly it's continuing. We'll see how it all transpires on Saturday. Can't wait. Anyway, that'll do it for us today. We'll talk to you tomorrow.